They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
What's up, everyone? My name is Ethan. This is Courtside TV. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe, and let's get into it. So, today I want to talk about the Miami Heat, who, prior to the All-Star break, were one of the hottest teams in basketball. They have won, let me count them right here for you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of their last 8 games. Just dropping one game to the Hawks a couple days before the All-Star break. That was a game Jimmy Butler didn't play in. But this team has clearly started to roll a little bit here. They started off very, very slowly, were very underwhelming. A lot of people are like, oh, see, this proves that they were frauds. They shouldn't have been to the finals. It was just a bubble thing, and this team is not very good. When in reality, they've dealt with a lot of health and safety protocol absences. They dealt with a lot of health issues. A lot of guys have missed a ton of time this year, a lot of key players. And, you know, you can poke holes at some of the things that they did in free agency, and we'll get to that. But I just wanted to talk about the Heat today and sort of how they figured it out and started to get rolling a little bit. So, first of all, I think the major reason why this team was underperforming for the first little bit of the year was just all the absences they've had. Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Herro, Avery Bradley, Goran Dragic, go on and on and on. Tons of rotation players for this team have been out, whether that's due to health and safety or injury or a combination of both. There have been a lot of guys who have missed significant time for the Heat this year, and I think people were honestly kind of overlooking that when this team was losing a ton. Jimmy Butler has not played very much at all, and that was probably the major reason why he wasn't in the All-Star game, because his statistics say that he probably should be there, but he was, he just had to miss so long for health and safety, and he's had injuries at points, and obviously we know that he's the best player on this team. I think he's one of the 10 best players in the entire NBA. He has been crucial to this Heat team and the success that they've had. Everywhere Jimmy Butler has gone, success has followed. Early in his career with the Bulls, goes to the Timberwolves, they make the playoffs for the first time in like 17 years, goes to the 76ers, they advance to the, almost get to the conference finals, come within one shot of doing that, and then with the Heat takes them all the way to the finals. So Jimmy Butler is very, very crucial to the success of any team that he's on, and so him missing time is huge. Make no mistake, his statistics are not eye-popping like some of the other superstars in the league, but Jimmy Butler is very, very important to what the Heat do, and it makes sense that they would struggle without him. And specifically when Butler has been out, but I think at points throughout this season they have missed specifically Jay Crowder, but some of the other guys that they lost over the offseason. I think Crowder is a guy who has also been a part of a lot of very good basketball teams. He's been traded a lot, and everywhere he goes, he can play a solid role for a very good NBA team. And he's a guy who, could help fill up those power forward minutes with Jimmy out, power forward, small forward on the wing, whatever. And he can hit shots. He's very tough. He knows how to win. He's part of that winning culture, and losing him does hurt. I feel like I personally, and a lot of other people probably kind of underplayed that loss for the Heat in the offseason. And they're like, oh, well, they got Mo Harkless and Avery Bradley. They'll be okay. Those guys are fine, but I don't think either of them are as good as Jay Crowder, and that loss was probably a little bit understated for them. Now, do I think that this, takes them out of contention for the finals? No. Jay Crowder is not like that significant of a piece. I still do think this team can potentially make a finals run. I wouldn't pick them to do it, but, they're still very, very good, but losing Jay Crowder does hurt. Combine that with all the injuries that they've had, I think you have a pretty good recipe for an underwhelming Heat season. And that's kind of what we've seen so far. But even with how, quote-unquote underwhelming they've been, they're still a playoff team right now. I mentioned yesterday how, for the Celtics, the schedule is the standings are so tight, between like 4 all the way down to like 10 or 11 in the standings. It's separated by like 2 or 3 games. The Heat are smack dab in the middle of that. They're number 6 right now, only 1 game out of 4th place, half a game out of 5th. They're even 500, 18 and 18. And I could definitely see them doing some damage coming up here, because if we just take a look at their schedule, they have some relatively easy games coming up. I'm not sure exactly what their strength of schedule looks like, but coming out of the All-Star break here, they have Magic, Bulls, Magic, Cavs, Grizzlies, Pacers as their first, little stretch of games there. Certainly very winnable. I could definitely see them extending this winning streak here, because they've got a lot of teams on their docket upcoming that are beatable. Not like horrible teams. Like the Pacers are okay. The Bulls have been okay this year. Grizzlies are okay. But the Heat, I think, can definitely start to continue to put this win streak together. Like I said, they've won 7 of their last 8. I think that could easily be extended, to continue a lot of these next games, because this is a team that I feel like is rolling now. They're finally healthy. They've got all their pieces back, and sometimes that's just as simple as it is, right? A lot of people kind of want to look underneath and say, okay, what's the issue here? Like, is it coaching? Is it locker room issues? Is it roster imbalance? What is it? I think the simple answer for why the Heat have not been as good this year as a lot of people predicted has just been they've been missing rotation players. That's really what it comes down to. They've got pretty much all their guys back now. Dragic is healthy. Jimmy Butler's healthy. Bam Adebayo's been back. Tyler Herro's back. I think Avery Bradley remains out. I'm pretty sure he is still dealing with an injury, but other than him, they pretty much have their full rotation. So, I feel like they're going to start, they're going to continue to put this together and continue to extend this winning streak, or their winning ways here. And I feel like the Heat will be right back in the top of the conference. Not necessarily, knocking on the door of those top 3 teams in Philadelphia and in Brooklyn and in Milwaukee, but potentially, challenging for that 4th or 5th spot. I think they could probably cement themselves in that next tier of Eastern Conference teams. And this is another team to keep an eye on the trade market. They've been rumored in a couple of big moves here. We know that Victor Oladipo has, had Miami as one of his destinations, and they could certainly swing a trade for him. They have these movable contracts, specifically guys like Andre Iguodala, Kelly Olynyk, Myers Leonard, who don't even want to get into that, but Myers Leonard is he's in the news for all the wrong reasons today, and I guess we'll just leave it at that. Not a good thing to say for Myers, so I'll leave it there. But they have a couple of movable contracts here with Leonard, Iguodala, Olynyk, and a couple of young players that teams would like to get their hands on. Specifically, Kendrick Nunn would probably be the guy who would be thrown into packages there, because Tyler Herro, Duncan Robinson probably have a little bit more value. I think the Heat want to hold on to those guys, but maybe Kendrick Nunn, a couple of the other guys on this roster would be thrown into a trade, whether that's for Oladipo or somebody else. I think we will see the Heat make a move at the deadline as well. They're a team that's going to be out there looking for an upgrade. We know that they've never been shy in chasing potential ways to upgrade their roster, and with the situation they're in, with some of these contracts on the roster, a lot of these guys are expiring also, which makes it easier to do it. Iguodala's got a team option for next year. Olynyk's expiring, so is Myers Leonard. So they've got options here. I would definitely expect the Heat to take a look at a couple moves around the deadline. If they can bring in Victor Oladipo, I think that'd be kind of interesting. We'll see if anything materializes out of that. But yeah, I think that's about all I have on the Miami Heat. Like I said at the top of the video, if you're new, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, ring the bell if you want to, leave a comment letting me know what you guys think about the Heat, what moves could they potentially make, and what's gone into their sort of underwhelming start. Would love to know your thoughts down below. But yeah, with all that said, I'll see you guys in the next one.